Hello everyone and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. It's Andy and today I'm going to be talking about ways to get better in Raid. So guys, hopefully this video, whether you're a new player in the game or whether you're a player with lots of experience, is going to be of some benefit to you and some assistance. If you're a new player, then maybe I'm going to talk about some of the ways to improve your champions or improve your account in general that you didn't already know. And if you're an experienced player, then maybe you'll be reminded of something that you forget to do regularly. First things first, you have champions. The most important thing in the game is to have a team of champions that work well together. Now, that doesn't mean you need to have 5 legendary champions that all have good synergy, though that would be nice. You just need a team of solid champions that do a good job together. And in fact, the next thing on my list is books. So books are a currency that you obtain in the game. There's no real fixed way to farm them. You can obtain them through events in the game. You can obtain them as daily login rewards. You can obtain them for doing your advanced quests when you reach the required level to be doing your advanced quests every day. But again, there's no real way to farm them consistently, so they are a very precious resource within the game. And if you have lower ranked champions, lower rarity champions like Coldheart for example, who's on the screen now, you can book her a lot more easily than if you have a legendary champion. Because of course, as a rare champion, you can use rare books on her, which are far more easy to obtain than epic books for the epic champions or legendary books for the legendary champions. So you can see there I've fully booked out my Coldheart, whereas by comparison I have someone like Stag Knight, who's a fantastic champion as well and looks so cool, but he's not even close to being booked out because you just don't get that many epic books. So champions, books. Moving on to the next thing to do to improve your champions, I'm going to go into the tavern here. Wait, taverns? It sounds like I've been in the taverns already, guys, but moving on. And you have Ascension. Now Ascension is a massive part of the game, and it's maybe something that you don't realise the importance of straight away, but it should be fairly easy to get to grips with it after a little while, because you can see there, you take your champion, you get the relevant potions for the relevant affinities, put them into the champion, and it will improve your champion in a number of ways, including increases to the base stats, and also it can sometimes unlock different skills, like you can see here for my Bistophus. If I were to go away and ascend Bistophus up to 3-star ascension, his skill, his A3 skill, goes from the skill you see at the top there, attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a block cooldown skill debuff for 2 turns, and instead it becomes that skill, but it also tags on the end there, also has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. So straight away you get extra utility out of the same skill that you'd be using anyway, and you get the extra stats as a bonus. So champions, books, Ascension. Moving swiftly onwards, we have masteries. Now you can see here I don't have any masteries in my Bistophus. It's not a champion that I've spent any real time on yet. I've only recently gotten him. But if we go to my Zargala, this is one of my favourite champions in the game by far, possibly because I got her in the early game and she has carried me through the campaign and so many other areas of the game that I've managed to progress to this point. So what masteries do I have for Zagala? And as you can see, there's loads of options, there's loads of choices for you when you start to get masteries into your champions. But the masteries that I've got, just to give you a taster of how powerful some of these can be, you have increases the chances of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts by 5%. So that's a huge increase. Mostly you'll see on the better champions with great debuff abilities, you'll see that you need to put books into them to increase their chance of placing that debuff. The sniper ability does that for you as well, and it's a mastery, so it's much more attainable to most free-to-play players and low spend players for that matter. War Master, obviously this is a 6-star ability. When you do start to get into masteries, you'll find that as you rank your champions up, you'll get access to different tiers of mastery. The last tier is only unlocked with a 6-star champion, and I can't quite recall, but it may or may not be after they're ascended as well. I think it's just 6 stars though. So War Master is a 6-star ability and has a 60% chance of inflicting bonus damage when attacking. Bonus damage is equal to 10% of the target champion's max HP or 4% of the target champion's max HP when attacking bosses. Bonus damage can only occur once per skill and does not count as an extra hit. So that's huge. If you think of the health pools of some of the bosses in this game, if you were to go in to a boss fight with 3 to 5 champions all running War Master, you're probably going to double your damage, because each hit of War Master, 4% of the boss's overall health, you can be looking anywhere between 20,000 damage to the most I've personally seen on my account is about 60,000 damage, maybe 40, 50, but these are big numbers, especially when you are in the earlier game. You don't necessarily have these champions that really smack. I'm just going to pick out some of my favourites here because this is not a masteries video, it's just a basic overall video of how you can improve your characters and your account in general in Raid. Whirlwind of Death increases speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion, stacks across each round in a battle up to 18 speed. Speed, and then you've got accuracy as well here, increases accuracy by 20 when this champion has no skills on cooldown. Speed and accuracy are two of the biggest substats in the game, and those masteries can make all the difference to whether you can gear your character properly or not. Which takes me on to the next topic, and it's artifact or gear as I keep calling it. Artifacts, when you start to get up to the 5 and the 6-star artifacts, can give you some absolutely massive stat increases. You can see here for my Zagala, I've got all of these stats that are in the green, which are bonus stats. They're not her base stats, they are stats that she gets from other areas. I think it includes masteries, but for the most part we're looking at what these artifacts up here are giving to her. So you can see there the Relentless Chest is 50% attack as a 5-star artifact, 50% crit rate on the 5-star gauntlets, 40 speed on the 5-star boots. All of these are massive stat increases, certainly for an account like mine where I don't necessarily have that 6-star gear to rely on yet, but they're just huge bonuses. And when you do start to get the right gear in the right places, so you've got your speed boots and you've got your attack chest in this case, you can start to pay a bit more attention to the substats. Now when you get any artifact, it will be a certain level based on the star count, and it will also be a certain rarity signified by the colour. So I've got an epic chest, I've got legendary boots, and I've got a rare shield. Something I didn't realise until much later in the game is that the number of stars an artifact has dictates how high that primary stat, that 50% attack in this case, how high that primary stat's going to be. So as I say, 5 stars is 50%, 6 stars is going to be 60% attack. So 10% additional attack just for that one additional star. What it also does is increase the numbers on the substats, which, if we're looking at my 6-star weapon, you can see there, because I had an epic artifact, it started with 3 substats on the weapon already. If it was a common artifact, so a grey, it would have started with the primary stat and none of the substats. It would only unlock the substats as I ranked it up to level 16. But because it was an epic artifact, it came out with the 3 substats already on there, and then as I hit those milestone levels for the gear, so level 4, level 8, level 12, it rolls and basically adds an additional stat on top of one of the 3 substats that it already had as an epic artifact. So in this case, you can see that signified by the 1 next to attack. I got 1 roll into attack, and the 2 next to HP. I got 2 rolls into HP. Now you can see there that as substats, that's giving me 19% HP and 13% attack, just because I got a couple of rolls that landed into there and increased those numbers on my substats. By way of contrast, if we look at, I'll just find a fairly average, low quality piece of gear. I think I'd delete anything less than 4 stars. Let me just move myself out of the way here first. You can see here on the 4-star weapon, I get 4% attack as opposed to 13% attack on the 6-star weapon, where I got the 1 roll additional as well. So clearly that's a big improvement there as well in the substats. But I think that's enough about artifacts. The last topic I'm going to cover on the basic ways to improve your raid account. It's something that I find is really easily forgettable, but is really important all the same. And it's glyphs. You can see on the gear that I've got on my Zargala, I have a little green icon here on most of the pieces, and that symbolises the fact that I've got glyphs into those pieces. So you can see on my weapon there are no glyphs at the moment, so we'll correct that now. Click upgrade and you have this second tab on the right here, which is enchant, and these glyphs are the glyphs that you'll be collecting by doing your faction wars every day, and they can go up to at least 4-star. That's as high as I've had, and I'm sure they go higher than that still, because faction wars take some time to progress. And you can see there that just by glyphing my gear, I can get a maximum of 3% additional HP on that substat, which, when we were looking at the other piece earlier, the substat on my 4-star sword was 4% in its entirety. So on a lower grade piece of gear with a higher ranked glyph, you can almost double the amount of benefit you're getting from your substats. I don't have any silver, so I won't do that now, but the one thing that I think more experienced players will be forgetting to do is going back into their gear later on, once they've progressed a little further in faction wars, and re-rolling these glyphs to turn the 1%, because I'm sure when I do this I'll get a 1% HP increase rather than a 3, and you just want to re-roll it to get that 3% when you're pushing your 6-star gear, when you're pushing your trying to go for triple rolls into the correct substat, and all these little min-max improvements that we try and do. You'll want to go back in and re-roll your glyphs to make sure you get the maximum benefit out of those as well. So that's it really, guys. Those are all the areas that I wanted to do a lightning fast tour of. That is, of course, if you call a 15-minute ramble lightning fast. If you find it helpful, then please do leave me a like and a subscription. And if you want to have me do a video on any of these areas in a little more detail, then please leave a comment and I'll be happy to do so. Hope you enjoyed watching. Take care.